this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Life gets messy. Spills, stains, head accidents, and kid chaos. But with Anabay, cleaning up is easy. Our sofas are fully machine washable, inside and out, so you never have to stress about messes again. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics, that means fewer stains and more peace of mind. Designed for real life, our sofas feature changeable fabric covers, allowing you to refresh your style anytime. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa effortlessly. Perfect for cozy apartments or spacious homes. Plus, they're earth-friendly and built to last. That's why over 200,000 happy customers have made the switch. Upgrade your space today. Sofas start at just $699. Visit washablesofas.com now and bring home a sofa made for life. That's washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it comes to making an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the one you'll call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
We're back! Hey. Wait, I'm Robert Evans, and this is Behind the Bastards podcast. Bad people. Talk about, Brandie Posey.
That's me. We are here. It's part two.
Part two.
Of Hitler Fucks.
Hitler Fucks. Boogaloo.
Yes.
Hitler's
exactly.
dick. Everybody's thinking about it.
Part two of Hitler's stupid dick.
Hitler's stupid. And I'm going to guess, he doesn't seem like a guy who did a lot of core strengthening exercises. So
no.
I'm going to guess a little low energy.
No. Yeah. Hitler is like a 5 pump kind of guy. And then he gets mad at you.
I know what his hair would do. Because I can imagine like a sweat-drenched fucking Hitler with just like that little thing flipping down on the front of it.
Yeah, he's just constantly
yeah.
So mad. Like every orgasm makes him mad because it makes him happy.
He just gets angrier and angrier the more he comes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like,
Hitler.
Why does it make me feel good? I don't understand.
Good is bad.
Yeah.
I'm Hitler. I was going a little Russian there.
A little.
Yeah, I'm not great at accents.
It's okay.
Anyway, the podcast, The Hitler. When we left off, we just sort of established Hitler's youth and his young adulthood, the way his best friends talked about him and his sexual life, although after they were no longer his best friends. So again, I'll take everything you hear about Hitler with a little bit of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing we know about the guy for sure is that Berchtesgaden was his happy place. It's basically a quiet mountain town where he eventually built a giant fortress up there. But he had like a room on like to the top of the mountain where he could stare pensively out at the skyline and contemplate being Hitler.
He just needed emo. I think he just needed like
Elliott Smith would have saved the world a lot of problems.
Yeah, exactly. I feel so seen.
Yeah, I feel so seen.
He is also right. Life is pain. I understand. I'm becoming Transylvanian. So
yeah. The accents are going to be all over the fucking place.
Blow, I'm Hitler.
Oh, boy. Now, in autumn of 1926, Hitler took a trip to Berchtesgaden in order to relax and plot the Nazi Party's next series of electoral coups. Well, he was staying at a fancy hotel.
Oh, a writer's retreat.
Yeah, basically a writer's retreat. Yeah, he was going up to Big Bear to write.
Great.
Get his tight five down. But
I wonder if he also took a bunch of spinach with him that he didn't end up eating.
Almost certainly.
That's every writer's retreat I've ever gone on. I'm just like, I'm bringing nothing but kale.
A lot of kale.
None of it gets eaten. I just go to Taco Bell instead.
Mm-hmm. Hitler had that experience too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now, while he was staying at a fancy hotel, Hitler met a lady named Maria Reiter, Mimi to her friends. Now, young Mimi was in a rough spot in life. Her mom had died of cancer 2 weeks earlier. Her dad, a member of the Social Democratic Party, had pulled her out of her Catholic boarding school to help run the family clothing store. Now, the store was located in the bottom floor of the hotel where Hitler was staying, and Hitler saw her as soon as he arrived. Seemingly at once, this 37-year-old politician saw a grieving 16-year-old girl and was like, I gotta give me some of that.
Oh,
Hitler!
No. It's the only moment his dad's ever been proud of him. Just like, hell yeah.
Oh, there's one more.
Okay, great, of course.
Probably a couple. Really.
Like father, uncle, like son, cousin.
Sunkle. Yeah. Now, even at the time, 16 was a bit young for a middle-aged man to date a... That became a pattern with Hitler. The older he grew, the age of the girls he flirted with stayed the same.
So, yep.
Yep. This all tracks.
Yeah. No. I. Here's the thing. Nothing you've said is surprising to me.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah. No. That fills in that part of the puzzle.
That fills in that part of the puzzle. It's just like picking up little pieces.
Yeah, who knows?
This guy's not such a mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I've known a few of him.
It's one of those, like, it's a puzzle of just like a piece of shit, but with no borders. So the puzzle just keeps expanding in every direction.
Not only do I feel like I know this guy, I feel like I've stood in a police station with several friends and tried to warn the police about this guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's
one of those guys that you're like, just get out of the car.
Yeah, maybe I should just duck and roll.
Yeah, you just gotta go. Oh God, hitting on 16-year-olds.
That was one of the most, like, I've definitely told some gross jokes about women in my time, especially when I was like 17, 18 years old. Like, I grew up with the same toxic bullshit as everything else. One of the big things in my like change of mind state around this was just the fact that, like, coming to a realization throughout my 20s that, like, well, every woman I know has been scared for her life at some point during a date. I'm just worried about, like, am I tipping enough? Like, is she going to judge me?
Yeah, like the stakes are very, very different
really
on both sides. Yeah. You're like, oh,
yeah.
I get it. I'm sorry.
Hitler's one of those guys today who would have made a lot of women scared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then been like, oh, it's your problem.
It's your problem.
It's like, no, man.
I'm not sure what the accents are going
just
here.
have a little bit of empathy for somebody's
empathy.
situation that might be different from yours.
Yeah. So Ian Kershaw notes, quote, Hitler preferred women much younger than himself, girls he could dominate, who would be obedient playthings but not get in his way. I'm going to guess that it seems pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hitler waited until he saw Mimi out of work, sitting on a bench in a nearby park with her sister, playing with their dog, which, okay, is a better move than flirting at her at work. Wait till she's out in, a social, public situation or whatever. She's not alone, so you're not like,
You cannot interfere with the work.
Yeah. If you're gonna like game, like question Hitler, so far, of the opening moves you could have done, not terrible, other than the fact that she's a literal teenager. Yeah. So he goes up to this girl.
What is this guy? A Republican, potentially a senator from Louisiana?
Yeah, that's basically what's going on.
It's not like this happens today.
So he's a pretty big name in Germany in 1926, and Mimi recognizes him immediately. Not a lot of guys look like Hitler.
Yeah.
That is one of he's Hitler.
Yeah, it's recognizable. Little
you pretty much are like, oh,
face.
That's a Hitler right there. Yeah.
Did he have the mustache at this point?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
We're about to talk about that. So Mimi later talked to interviewers, and I'm going to quote the book explaining Hitler's kind of the way it put together her recollection of how Hitler flirted with her during this period. Quote, she describes the affair in the language of a Harlequin romance novel. Hitler is the stiff, somewhat ruthless stranger who first appears with a dog and a whip, but is later melted into a schoolgirl fantasy lover by her charms. Quote from Mimi, there is the famous Hitler recently released from prison, she's told. He was wearing breeches and a light velour hat, she recalls. In his hand was a riding whip. He had warm, light gray stockings and a windbreaker that was held together by a leather belt. Beside him walked a beautiful shepherd. He sees her, too, and is theatrically captivated. He asks Mimi's sister, could you introduce me to this bliss? Mimi is brought over. He transferred his riding whip from his right hand to his left, gave me his hand, and looked at me with a piercing gaze, and praised her dog. The dog is really beautiful and well-trained. You are really good at that. They talked about dogs for an hour. Hitler, quote, did not take his eyes off of Mimi. Then he very formally asked her sister Annie whether she would permit him to take Mimi for a walk sometime. At that, Mimi, got up and ran away. So, this is the first meeting. Still, she was fascinated in a starstruck way. He looks quite dashing with his breeches and his riding whip. There is one note that spoils the picture, his mustache. The funny flies, she calls the black hairy growths beneath Hitler's nose. He was still figuring out the mustache at this point.
Oh,
so
yeah.
She's a literal child, but isn't entirely against it at first, but runs off when she's flirted with, which again, this is fucking 1926.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also like at a certain point, having been like a young gal, that you kind of have to endure those things.
Yeah.
You're polite until you see an exit, and then you're like, okay, time to go. I'm not gonna like outright rebuke you because you're in a position of power. Yeah,
well, it's weird because she recalls this as like a positive thing.
Oh, okay, I see.
But it's also like she's recalling this years later, and like when she realizes that she essentially hooked up with the most famous man of the 20th century.
Yeah.
So like some of this is going to be retroactively. She's going to make it like a thing. I don't know. I can't imagine being in that position, so I'm not going to judge Mimi Ryder.
No. She's a child also. She doesn't know.
She's 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the 37-year-old approaching her. So Hitler invited Mimi and her sister to a Nazi party meeting where he was giving a speech. He wasn't allowed to give public speeches in 1926 as a condition of his parole. So it's an older man with a parole history, who's on parole hitting on a 16-year-old.
What is he? What is he? A line chef at a rib place?
That's exactly how he makes his money.
Of fucking course he is.
He's got a Trans Am.
Oh God!
Bumper's falling off.
Oh, I know these guys.
I bought Coke from Hitler.
Oh man, yeah, you absolutely did. Yeah, that's totally who Hitler is. Oh God.
Oh, Hitler.
I remember working in a rib place when I was a teenager in high school. Like this, I know this guy exactly.
Yeah.
And there's this one chef that didn't talk to me at all until on Valentine's Day. He brought me a candy heart that had a picture of a moose on it, and it said, "You a moose me."
Okay.
And I remember just being like, "Thanks."
That's a move.
And then he had like a child. He had like a baby that he like brought to one of my shifts.
Nice.
I was like, cool. Glad you're introducing me to your baby. I don't give a shit about this.
So how long have y'all been married?
He's probably dead. I hope he is.
In a healthy society, that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
The Hitler-like guy dies of a coke overdose in his car at age 34.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just remember, man, no, that's who Hitler was for sure. He was that fucking fry cook.
Hitler was that fry cook. In a healthy society, all our Hitlers are fry cooks.
Yeah.
And some of our fry cooks become Anthony Bourdains.
Yes.
But none of our Anthony Bourdains become Hitlers.
No.
None.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a healthy society.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hitler sensed that this teenager was attracted to his fame, so he really played that up. After this big event, he put her and her sister at the head table for dinner and sat them right next to him, so they felt like they were at the center of this big, important political meeting. But, I mean, it was a big, important political... The Nazis wound up in charge. So,
sure. But it's funny, thinking about, from the perspective of the other Nazis in the room, just and Hitler has 2 children with him.
The boss is hitting on a teenager.
Cool. We're on the right side of it.
We're the right ones.
Yeah, we're the good guys.
We're doing great.
Yeah, we got our fucking cuck pedophile boss running the party. We're on the right side of history.
I feel like we're the good guys.
Yeah, we totally are. Oh, God.
She later recalled, and I have to remind you, she's talking about Hitler here, quote, I was very embarrassed and blushed. It was as if he had organized the meeting just for me, as if all that counted for him now was to just conquer me.
Ugh.
She was apparently feeling that. During dinner, Hitler, quote, fed her pieces of cake like a little child. He treated her like a child and then again like a grown woman. After dinner, he talked about her dead mom and told her that she had the same eyes as his dead mom. Hitler's game is pretty weird.
Wow. Holy God. Oh, there's just so many layers.
A lot of dead moms coming into how Hitler flirts.
Oh, man. Show me a picture of your dead mom.
I hear your mother is dead.
Show me mine. I'll show you your dead mother.
I too have a tragically dead mother.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put their pictures together and make them kiss. Does this do anything for you? Just 69 are dead moms' faces? Is that what you like, little child?
This is how fuck, yes?
Yeah. Just whipping photos of somebody else's dead mother.
No, throw your mother's photo.
Yeah, and watch me cut it in half.
Oh, boy.
God.
Oh, boy. Yeah. So he followed that with, what Mimi described as a coarse sexual advance, although she unfortunately does not give the exact details of that.
Yeah.
Given the 20s, it might have been him complimenting her hands or something.
Yeah.
Completely innocent like that. Well, not completely innocent. She was 16, he was 37, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Later in the dinner, a guest asked Hitler why he wasn't married yet. This was a pretty common question for Hitler to get. He answered that, of course, he had to save Germany first. According to Mimi, though, at the exact same time, quote, Hitler touched my legs with his knee and heavily stepped on my toes with his shoe, a funny and rude hint at what he wanted to say. This works. This works on Mimi.
I know.
She says it does, at least. Who knows how accurate her recollections are.
I mean, I get it. Because also, like, being a 16-year-old girl at that point, this is all intoxicating. This is all very... It's all very complimentary.
And not that the two men are similar, but he's like a similar level in national politics as someone like Beto O'Rourke, where people are seriously talking, this guy might be in charge soon. So there's that dimension of this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's also like, you've been forced to drop out of school by your dad. Like your
mom's dead. Yeah.
Your only way to a better life at this point is probably through a man to another situation. Like you aren't being primed to take over a business of your own or anything.
Your dad's a member of like the opposite political party, so maybe there's a little bit of that going on too, where she's like, my dad's gonna really hate this. Yeah.
I'm bringing home the ultimate bad boy.
I mean, yeah,
kind of.
There's no better dating a bad boy than literally Hitler.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Okay, so based on what you know about Hitler's game so far, what would you expect his next step was after talking about his dead mom and then stomping on a girl's foot?
I mean, maybe just like putting some of his dad's ashes on like lipstick and then asking for a kiss. Is that
that would actually be less creepy. He chose animal abuse.
Oh, great.
Yeah, here's Mimi Reader. Quote, we went out into the night. Hitler was about to put his arm around my shoulders and pull me towards him when the two dogs suddenly attacked each other. Hitler suddenly intervened. Like a maniac, he hit his dog with his riding whip and shook him violently by the collar. He was very excited. I did not expect that he could hit his dog so brutally and ruthlessly, the dog which he had said he could not live without. Yet he beat up his most loyal companion. How can you be so brutal and beat your dog like that? I asked. It was necessary, Hitler said. Tenderly, he touched my shoulders. His mouth changed. His voice sounded sad. Don't you want to kiss me? He asked. She forces herself to say no, that they shouldn't see each other again. Hitler takes the reaction badly. He turned cold. Kindness disappeared from his face. Abruptly, he turned away, said Heil, and left.
Yeah, I mean...
Pro tip, Hitler, don't beat dogs on a first date.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to say don't be dogs.
No. Shouldn't have to say it anyway. Maybe not on the first. You don't do that.
Most experts say animal abuse is like a third date thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you get that dog whip out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You and your goddamn whip.
He spooned that dog that night and just whispered sweet nothings into that poor dog's ear.
Oh, I really feel for that dog.
I have all of Hitler's dogs. They just saw so many sad masturbations.
Yeah.
They absolutely did.
We don't think enough about the suffering dog kind went through during those years. No. It was rough.
I know.
Yeah.
Poor babes.
Yeah.
Ugh,
now, Hitler, once rejected, was not about to give up on his dreams of conquering this girl literally less than half of his age. He sent one of his men to Mimi's store the next day. This guy told Mimi that he'd never seen the boss so filled with love. Believe me, the man is on fire. Now, this got Mimi to give Hitler a second chance.
Yeah.
She agreed to a second, and it wasn't quite a date, but she agreed to hang out with him again. He picked her up at work and took her in a ride in his Mercedes. He didn't drive, of course. His man Maurice handled the driving. Hitler couldn't drive. He sat next to Mimi in the back. Quote, he took my hand and put it into his lap. Then he took my other hand as well and pressed it. Now I have your hands, and I have you, and I will keep you now. You're not a big fan of Hitler's moves?
I don't like his moves.
Okay.
I don't like what Mimi needed. She needed like a Wilson through the fence to give her some advice.
Yeah, an older man going like, "Oh, you shouldn't be dating 37-year-old Nazis."
Yeah. She needed somebody to be on her side here. To be like, hey, girl.
Some good adult advice.
Oh, God.
I guess Dad was grieving. I'm not gonna hit on him too hard, but it is kind of a failure of parenting if your daughter dates Hitler.
Yeah.
She's 16,
Yeah,
adult kids can date Hitler. That's their mistake to make.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of lessons that should have been taught.
Better parenting at a few levels in this story would have really, really helped with some problems. Yeah. So, for their next date, Hitler took her to a graveyard to see her mom's grave. What happened next is just so strange that I'm going to read explaining Hitler's description because it's weird. Quote, Hitler is overcome, thinking of his own mother. Moved by something he did not want to tell me, what he said sounded very grave and utmost distress. I am not ready yet. Hitler, holding on to his riding whip, comforts a sobbing Mimi and strangely chooses that moment to tell her, I want you to call me Wolf. That was his preferred nickname.
Wolf.
So he takes her to his mom's grave, or her mom's grave, says he's not ready to fuck, and then asks her to call him Wolf. That was his favorite nickname. He thought it sounded cool.
Fucking guy.
He made all his friends call him Wolf. Secret headquarters during the invasion of Russia was the Wolf's Lair. I'm just saying he would have been one of those guys with an unironic wolf howling at the moon shirt.
You can't tell people your nickname.
No, then it's not a nickname.
It's not a nickname.
Then it's narcissism.
Yes.
If you get a cool nickname, congratulations.
Yeah.
But you got to earn it.
Yes. You don't get to pick your own.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bullshit.
You know what you do get to pick of your own is the products and services that you spend your money and or commerce units to purchase. Ads!
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year. You can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas start at just $699. Enjoy a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slip covers made with performance fabric. Experience cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam that's hypoallergenic and never needs fluffing. The sturdy steel frame ensures longevity, and the modular pieces can be rearranged anytime. Shop WashableSofas.com for up to 60% off site-wide, backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Upgrade now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis-Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
Let's talk about modern home shopping. It's sort of become a fun side hobby, right? Scrolling listings at night, dreaming about kitchens you've never seen, or backyards you haven't even stepped foot in, all from the comfort of pretty much anywhere. Redfin knows a lot of people like you want to own, but are stuck in this browsing mode loop. That's where Redfin flips the script. With listings that update within minutes and tours you can book right from the Redfin app, you can see your dream home the moment it appears. Now, liking a listing is easy, but actually landing it, that's where Redfin comes in. Redfin has over 2,200 agents with local expertise. And Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. That means they want to help you win, not just window shop. Redfin is built to help you go from just looking to wait, this could actually be home. So become the newest neighbor on the block. Visit redfin.com to start finding and start owning. That's redfin.com.
We're back.
Yeah, we are.
We're back. We just enjoyed the freedom of choice that Hitler would not have approved of, although actually, if we're going to be really honest, the Nazi regime was seriously in bed with the capitalist interest in Germany at the time and phrased a lot of what they were doing as a defense of free trade against unionism. But,
that's another podcast.
Products
we're talking
and
about his
services.
boners.
Yeah, we're talking about his dick today.
God.
Not the entanglements of fascism and capitalism throughout history.
His little wolf.
Modern day. Yeah.
His little
His
wolf.
little wolf.
Wolfie.
Wolfie. So on their fourth date, Hitler decided to make his move on Mimi Reeder. He took her out for a walk in the woods and said romantic things to her and then asked her to kiss him, which is, a pretty timeless move.
That's a pretty classic date. I mean, to be fair, we're going from
Mom's grave.
Well, no, we're going from like a dinner where he's given a speech.
We're going from fascist political meeting, date 1, where he beats a dog at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Date 2, middle-aged guy takes you on a ride in his Mercedes. Date 3, mom's grave.
Yep.
Tells you to call him Wolf.
Wow.
And then date 4, walk in the woods.
Okay. I mean, the most normal of the dates so far
is the walk in the woods.
Yeah.
It's a solid fourth date's a decent time to make that move if you're, she's 16. Jesus, Hitler. Okay. So here's Mimi. Quote, I could feel how he clenched his fists. I could see how he was fighting with himself. My child, I could squash you in my arms at this very moment. I did not resist any longer. His true self had come out.
Yeah.
This is what Hitler says in his first kiss. Maybe his first kiss ever.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Hitler told her that he wanted her to have his blonde Aryan babies, but whined that he didn't have the time right now, what with his mission to save Germany. How many times have you...
I just don't...
Speaking as a man, we've all used that line.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta
classic.
save Germany, baby.
I just can't help it.
Germany,
You're going to last 30 seconds, you piece of shit. Like, please, you've got the time.
Now, Hitler promised to buy an apartment in Berlin for them once, he was more successful with, he made promises about the kind of the furniture they'd buy and all this stuff. He told her they'd be together forever. But then he left Berchtesgaden and ignored her for months.
This is the worst Springsteen song I've ever heard.
He just ghosts her.
Ghosts
her for a long time. When he returned to the mountains finally, he didn't visit her. Being a teenager, Mimi did not take this very well.
Yeah.
Yeah? Well.
Yeah, it's like, hey, buddy, if we're gonna go here, let's do this.
Let's do this. I mean, all sorts of pictures appeared in my mind. Faces of other women and Hitler smiling at them. I did not want to go on living.
Yeah.
So she attempted suicide, trying to hang herself on a door handle with a clothesline.
Oh, damn, Mimi.
Yeah,
Oof.
she went for it. Her brother-in-law came in at the last minute and saved her. And according to Mimi, her brother-in-law came to save her after he had gotten a message from Hitler that Hitler had just sent to him, explaining that he hadn't been seeing Mimi recently because he'd been blackmailed by someone who'd sent a letter to the Nazi Party office claiming that Hitler was seducing underage girls. So basically, months later, Hitler comes in and is like, somebody was talking about us and I had to go dark because it would hurt the success of my political party.
Yeah.
If we'd kept our thing up. So that's his excuse.
The truth would have come out. And so it's like, he knows he's not supposed to be doing this.
Yes, and this is not a lot of times when you talk about people dating teenagers or whatever in the past. It was definitely more normal back then. But again, this was a political liability for a 37-year-old. It wouldn't have been weird if he'd been 25 and dating a 16-year-old. That would have been pretty normal for Austria in 1926.
Yeah, but over 20 years is...
This is weird.
Yeah.
What he's doing is weird, and he knows it.
Yep.
Yeah. So Mimi claims that she found out later that the letters, sent into the Nazi Party office were actually written by a woman who was close to to Hitler and jealous of his relationship with Mimi. It was possibly this lady who was like his bodyguard / chauffeur who was like in love with him that he may have also fucked. We don't really know that much about that relationship. Whoa. There's a lot of rumored relationships that we don't have confirmation of. But one thing that is confirmed is that the Nazis were unbelievably catty bitches. There was tons of drama, tons of blackmail within the Nazis. They were gross and they were all fucking with each other.
Yeah, and they're all fucking messy. Just a bunch of messy bitches for sure.
Messy bitches. Yeah.
Ugh.
That's the Nazis.
Yep.
So Mimi and Hitler drifted apart for a while. The whole relationship was a huge deal for her, but it seems to have been more of a bump on the road for Hitler. During this time, he repeatedly flirted with his best friend Hanfstengel's wife, as well as Henrietta Hoffmann, the daughter of his photographer and fiancée of Baldur von Schirach, one of his top Nazis. Hitler dated, or at least made moves on, Jenny Haug, one of his drivers, and the bodyguard lady I talked about, maybe the woman who sent the letter. It's hard to tell how true all the different rumors about women Hitler might have been with was, but it seems like by the mid-20s, he's famous enough that like a lot of people are falling for his charms.
Yeah.
Largely for his fame. According to Ian Kershaw, quote, none of his liaisons, it seems, had been more than superficial. No deep feelings were ever stirred. Women were for Hitler a sport, an adornment in a men's world. Whether in the men's home in Vienna, the regiment during the war, the Munich barracks until his discharge, and his regular gatherings of party cronies in Café Neumauer or Café Heck in the 1920s, Hitler's environment had always been overwhelmingly male. Very occasionally, a woman would be admitted into our intimate circle, recalled Heinrich Hoffmann, but she never was allowed to become the center of it, and had to remain seen but not heard. She could occasionally take a small part in the conversation, but never was she allowed to hold forth or to contradict Hitler.
God, I love a silent wife.
Silent and dumb, that's the way Hitler likes them.
It's nothing better than just a silent
There's
wife.
a quiet woman who's barely alive. God. Hitler. Now, Hitler's next confirmed fling was with Geli Raubel, his half-niece.
Sick. Here we go.
You can't stop a Hitler male from fucking his own niece.
You just can't.
He cannot stay away from that.
In the blood.
That's the thing.
What a...
2 generations. The guys fucking, they're the same age when they start, too. So he met her when she was 14 years old. Her father had died when she was young, and her mother worked as a housekeeper. They were poor. Hitler did wait until she was 16.
What a gentleman.
What a gentleman. And that's the age when Uncle Alf, as she called him, asked her and her mom to move to Munich and become his housekeepers. Now, for them, it would have seemed like a real upgrade because he was a very powerful man by this point. He set Geli and Angela up in an apartment, and while her mom cleaned house, Hitler took his teenage niece out on the town. He found out she wanted to be a singer, and R. Kelly-like started paying for music lessons and promising to make her famous.
Yeah.
It's
all tracks.
It's all tracks. It's not just Hitler.
Old as time.
He wasn't just one of these guys. He was all of them.
Yeah, he's the prototype for, not the, there's before him too, but it's like he really is just greatest hits all around. How many, was he into Jell-O?
Was he drugging ladies?
Yeah, is he like super into Jell-O at any point?
Yeah, credit where it's due. That might be an area where Cosby innovated on Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
although... Yeah, there's some other crimes coming up here. So, over the next year or so, Hitler fell increasingly in love with his teenage niece. This did not go over well with his inner circle. Hanfstengel hated Geli, calling her an empty-headed slut with the corset bloom of a servant girl, which is some real sexist rich guy shit.
Yeah, please blame the child that was brought here by the adult man in power.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Also, if he'd known
Feminine
Hitler's
wiles.
family history, he would have known servants were sort of the family thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works out for them. Oh my
Weird
God.
that he and his dad both not only sleep with their nieces, but both bring them in as like
Servants.
serving girls.
How aware do you think Hitler was of that relationship?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is, there's a lot of rumors that he was to an extent, and he was trying to keep it hidden from people.
Because I'm just wondering if that's like him trying to like normalize how his parents got together in some way. Like
Maybe.
if he even was thinking that consciously about
I'm
it.
certain it wasn't conscious, but that may have been a factor.
Yeah,
Him being like wanting to sort of be like, well, no, if I'm like the biggest man in Germany and this is what I do, then it wasn't messed up how I grew up. And it's fine, and I don't have to think about it that much.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly. No, my mother, aunt, wife,
My
cousin.
mother, aunt, wife, cousin. Yeah,
That's great.
So, Putzi had to admit still that the infatuation his Führer had with this teenage girl was pretty significant. He said that she, quote, had the effect of making him behave like a man in love. He hovered at her elbow in a very plausible imitation of adolescent infatuation. So Gellie wound up having an affair with Hitler's longtime chauffeur, Emil Maurice. Hitler forgave her, but fired Maurice.
Yep.
When a local Nazi party leader named Munder whined that Gellie was distracting Hitler from politics, Hitler fired Munder.
Yeah.
For a while, Gellie Raubel threatened to derail the coming of the Third Reich entirely. Hitler started canceling plans for speeches and meetings to take her on picnics. Now, Gellie's probably the single most controversial piece of Hitler's backstory. Off the top of my head, the only thing historians debate more vociferously about Hitler is whether or not he was like an active or passive participant in the Holocaust. Like, those are like two of the things that are most questioned about this guy.
Interesting. Okay.
The relationship is, among other things, the origin of the Hitler liked poop myth. So that's where we're going next.
Oh, hell yeah. It's just, sometimes you think you're just going to have a Friday, and here it is.
And here it is.
Great.
Here it is. It does feel great. So in 1929, Hitler bought the gigantic apartment that he'd first promised Mimi Reeder. But he was over her, so he moved his 17-year-old niece in. Gellie's mother was sent off to Berchtesgaden to keep Hitler's holiday at home clean and to keep her away from Hitler and her daughter.
Yeah.
So Gellie and Hitler lived in separate bedrooms, but on the same floor. Now, our main sources for this particular story about the relationship come from a journalist named Konrad Heiden and our old pal Hanfstaengl. They also come from Gregor Strasser, a former Nazi who fell out with Hitler. So all these stories are from very anti-Hitler people who have reason to exaggerate things, which is part of why I bring that up.
Yeah.
So
I just like that they've got a real, like, I Love Lucy set up in their house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much that, but with poop. So Vanity Fair quotes all of these sources, and I'm going to read their kind of recollection of events.
Great.
Starting with Haydn. Quote, Hitler wrote the young girl a letter couched in the most unmistakable terms. It was a letter in which the uncle and lover gave himself completely away. It expressed feelings which could be expected from a man with masochistic coprophile inclinations bordering on what Havelock Ellis calls undenism. The letter probably would have been repulsive to Gellie if she had received it, but she never did. Hitler left the letter lying around, and it fell into the hands of his landlady's son, a certain Dr. Rudolph. The letter was bound to debase Hitler and make him ridiculous in the eyes of anyone who might see it. Hitler seems to have feared that it was Rudolph's intention to make it public. So coprophile is obviously loving poop, and udenism is loving to be urinated on. So that's how this journalist sort of describes this mythical letter that Hitler almost sends Gellie, but it gets intercepted, and then another Nazi is like threatening to blackmail Hitler with it.
I see.
Again,
that's an intense letter. How many rough drafts do you go through before
telling your niece you want to poop in her?
Or
be pooped in by her?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'd have to ask John McAfee that. So Putzi Hanfstaengl told a pretty similar story in his biography, but he claims that the pornographic content was different. Rather than a letter about his desire to be pooped in by Gellie, Hanfstaengl claims that the thing that got intercepted was Hitler's nude sketches of his niece. He describes the drawings as depraved, intimate sketches of Gellie Raubel with every anatomical detail, which could have meant that it was something we'd consider really weird or beyond the pale, or could have meant that he was just drawing porn of a girl he thought was his girlfriend. I mean, it's gross because she's his 17-year-old niece. But it might not have been a poop thing.
Yeah, it could just be like a nude photos or nude drawings. Yeah.
Now, the most direct story we have, or most direct evidence we have of the Hitler-liked poop myth comes from Otto Strasser. Now, Otto was a leading figure in the Nazi party for a while and then fell afoul of the party. His brother, who was also a Nazi, was murdered, and Otto became like a critic of the regime. And he wrote about this in a 1940 book that he published after he had fallen out with the party. So again, grain of salt here. Otto Strasser claims that basically after a period of excitement, Gellie got bored of being Hitler's girlfriend, since Hitler believed he had to present an image of being available and married to Germany. Hitler's handlers kind of thought that Hitler's sex appeal was a big part of Nazism's draw, and if it was known that he had a girlfriend, women wouldn't vote for him, and then he wouldn't be able to win election, which they may have been right about.
There's something there, I guess. Yeah.
It's hard to say. Yeah. This was pretty soon after women got the vote too, so people were sexist for a lot of reasons then.
Gotta vote for an available man.
Sexy Hitler.
Maybe if he sees my ballot, I'll get to be
Mrs. Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. Mrs. Hitler.
So basically, Strasser claimed that Gellie was really bored all the time and was really frustrated and depressed at not being able to go out with her boyfriend. And finally, Hitler allowed him, Strasser, to take Gellie out to a Mardi Gras party because he was like, okay, I'll let you do something, but I can't go with you because it'll look bad. So you go with my friend.
Yeah.
So Strasser claims that during this party, they were sitting down at a table and talking, and she opened up to him with a very emotional horror story. Quote from Strasser. Hitler made her undress while he would lie down on the floor. Then she would have to squat down over his face where he could examine her at close range, and this made him very excited. When the excitement reached its peak, he demanded that she urinate on him, and that gave him his sexual pleasure. Gelly said the whole performance was extremely disgusting to her, and although it was sexually stimulating, it gave her no gratification. So...
Cool. What a party.
These
German parties, man. Goddamn.
Yeah. And again, Strasser hated Hitler by that point and may have just been trying to slander his name. Other reports of Gelly and Hitler's relationship say that it was about as normal as a sexual liaison between a niece and her uncle could be. We don't know what they got up to. What we do know is that in 1931, at the cusp of Hitler reaching power, Mimi Reeder came back into his life. This is while he's living with Gelly.
She's like a legal age at this time and not even related to him.
Yeah, she's like 18 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while Hitler's living with and banging his niece, Mimi Reeder comes, into town. She'd married a guy in the intervening years, but dumped him, a little bit in, and basically traveled to Munich for a Hitler booty call.
Yeah.
So this is her version of events as described by the book Explaining Hitler. She, quote, calls Hitler's adjutant, Julius Schaub, informed that Mimi is in town. Hitler tells Schaub, bring her over. Mimi places the episode that follows in the summer of 1931 when Hitler was living in his big new apartment with Gelly Raubel. Now Mimi claims that during this visit, I let everything happen. So they had sex. This is like one of the first confirmations we have, and she doesn't give us a lot of detail about this. But we know that Hitler has a booty call with Mimi in early, summer or whatever, 1931, and then not a whole long while later, maybe just a couple of weeks, maybe a few days, Gelly Raubel commits suicide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Now, there are a number of theories as to why. One says she was jealous that Hitler had slept with Mimi, and being 19 at the time, took the most dramatic revenge she could imagine.
Yeah.
Another theory says she started an affair with a Jewish dance teacher in Vienna and was about to leave Hitler, and so he had her murdered. Some of the versions say that he murdered her himself. Yet another variant is that she wanted to leave for Vienna because she was just bored, but Hitler refused to let her go, and she killed herself in protest because, again, she was 19. Either way, one detail is consistent across all these stories. Gelly Raubel entered Hitler's room, found his 6.5mm Mauser handgun, and shot herself dead through the chest.
Wow.
Which, again, is part of why people think it might have been a murder, because she shot herself through the chest.
Yeah, through the chest, that's a hard shot to take.
But it's also not uncommon for women who commit suicide with guns to avoid shooting themselves in the head.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, nobody knows.
Yeah.
This is debated to this day. There are people right now who are trying to have her body exhumed in order to think that they found out. Like, it's a big controversy and stuff.
Interesting.
Still, we don't really know what happened.
Yeah,
it was a massive scandal at the time. People thought it was going to derail Hitler's political career right on the cusp of rising to power. The Nazi Party immediately responded with basically claiming that she'd killed herself because she was nervous over an upcoming music recital.
Yeah,
the body was taken away, courtesy of the Bavarian Minister of Justice, who was a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah,
her death was declared a suicide after a quick inquest. It was all clearly shushed up by the Nazis,
of course,
and the government, and the fact that law enforcement was fans with the Nazis. The whole story it's really hard to grasp exactly what happened here. There's certainly a good chance she was murdered, but there's at least an equally good chance that she was just driven to suicide by her relationship with Hitler.
Well, and she'd also been so isolated at this point. Your whole world is this guy, and he doesn't let you leave anywhere. And it's I
can see learning about him screwing Mimi when she's living with him could have made her commit suicide. I can see how she might not have known that at all and have just been fed up by it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Driving women to suicide, along with flirting via whip, was sort of Hitler's thing. Robert Waite, a psychologist, wrote a psychoanalytical biography of Hitler titled The Psychopathic God. Now, Waite is the first guy who got Langer's OSS report declassified, and he's definitely a member of the Hitler was into weird shit sexually camp.
Yeah.
So a lot of his conclusions are really debatable, but he makes a decent case to suggest that Hitler was doing something fucked up to the girls he liked. Quote, the idea that Hitler had a sexual perversion particularly abhorrent to women is further supported by a statistic. Of the 7 women who, we can be reasonably sure, had intimate relations with Hitler, 6 committed suicide or seriously attempted so.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
something's fucked up.
God damn. Yeah, he's up in some bad business.
Doesn't have to be kinky sex.
No.
Even more likely maybe that he's just really emotionally abusive. Being Hitler.
Yeah. Something about, he doesn't seem like a supportive boyfriend.
Does not seem like a supportive boyfriend.
No. This is a guy. He's weaving some bullshit in your ears.
Suicide is the single biggest through line rather than poop, of Hitler's sex life.
Yeah.
Eva Braun, who was Hitler's wife eventually, who Hitler met in 1929 while she was 17 years old and he was in his 40s, attempted suicide in 1932 and again in 1935, and then obviously committed suicide with him in 1945. But there were 2 attempts before that point.
Wow. While they were still together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
ish.
We'll see. We'll
see,
talk about that.
Yeah.
Frau Inga Ley, another possible Hitler lover, successfully committed suicide. So did Renate Muller and Susie Liptauer. We don't know a lot about most of these relationships. Gelly, Mimi, and Eva are the only women we get a lot of detail about, and Mimi is the only lover who survived fucking Hitler long enough to give a detailed interview. It turns out that being in love with the leader of the German Reich was even more dangerous than fighting in Stalingrad. So, we're going to talk about why that may have been and about some of the things that we do know about his sex life from some of these women, the other details. But first is an ad transition.
Yeah, let's do some ads.
Let's do some ads. Don't think about Hitler's sweaty balls while you think about these products. Damn it, that's a really bad ad pivot. Oh, I'm glad Sophie's not here. She's going to be really pissed at that. Products!
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only designer sofa that's machine washable inside and out, starting at just $699. Plus, Anabay sofas are pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and feature changeable slip covers and modular pieces. Get up to 60% off site-wide with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit washablesofas.com to get yours now. That's washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
Let's talk about modern home shopping. It's sort of become a fun side hobby, right? Scrolling listings at night, dreaming about kitchens you've never seen, or backyards you haven't even stepped foot in, all from the comfort of pretty much anywhere. Redfin knows a lot of people like you want to own, but are stuck in this browsing mode loop. That's where Redfin flips the script. With listings that update within minutes and tours you can book right from the Redfin app, you can see your dream home the moment it appears. Now, liking a listing is easy, but actually landing it, that's where Redfin comes in. Redfin has over 2,200 agents with local expertise. And Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. That means they want to help you win, not just window shop. Redfin is built to help you go from just looking to wait, this could actually be home. So become the newest neighbor on the block. Visit redfin.com to start finding and start owning. That's redfin.com.
We're back.
All right.
Okay.
Whew, what a nice break from thinking about his shitty, sweaty balls.
His shitty, sweaty balls.
Or ball.
Or ball.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, his doctor said not, but
okay.
I don't know. It's a good song.
Yeah.
So one of the women who committed suicide and is believed to have been a lover of Hitler was Renate Muller. She was an actress, and she got to tell a little bit of her story before leaping out of a window and falling to her death in 1937.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'll quote Vanity Fair. Like these stories came from the guy who was her director, so we don't have her directly being quoted on this.
Okay.
The guy who worked with her later told the OSS about like what had gone down between them. Quote, her director, one A. Zeisler, later told the OSS that she had confided in him shortly after spending a night with Hitler in the Reichschancellery, how distressed she was at the nature of the sexual practices Hitler demanded of her, of which, to her mortification, she complied. She claimed Hitler fell on the floor and begged her to kick him, condemned himself as unworthy, and just groveled in an agonizing manner. The scene became intolerable to her, and finally she acceded to his wishes. As she continued to kick him, he became more and more excited.
Yeah.
So that's a really different one. That's like
Yeah.
the Hitler liked being, and that's to me more believable than some of the, like, a lot of powerful men.
They wanna be
You talk
dominated.
to sex workers, like that's what these guys go in for.
Yeah, exactly. Like they want to be the sub.
I don't have any trouble imagining Hitler wanting a woman to just kick him a bunch
No.
while he like masturbates on the floor. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of sounds like the Hitler
Yeah.
we know. Yeah.
No, that definitely sounds way more, because it's like there's a lot of self-hate going on, so it's like being able to actually like exercise that part of yourself.
Yeah, that seems
For sure.
Yeah, I can see how that happened.
Yeah.
Well,
And that also just makes a lot of sense with like, it would be very difficult to reconcile those two things if you were a woman that like knew that versus the image of the world that of Hitler that you knew. So that would be, I mean, I can see how that would help with suicide.
Or it's there's also a lot of people who suspect that she did not commit suicide, that she was murdered because she knew about Hitler's sexual preferences, because she was kind of, dropped out, jumped out of a window in 1937, might have been thrown.
Yeah.
We'll never know. This whole state was controlled by the Nazis by that point, so you're not getting a good inquest or anything.
Well, it's like how many of these women, like, was it actually suicide versus murder?
Well, that's nobody knows with Gelly either.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's possible they were all murdered and none of them killed themselves. Oh, a man with Hitler, I don't have trouble believing. Like, Eva Braun definitely tried to kill herself beforehand. So I suspect it's a mix. I suspect one or two of these women were murdered.
Yeah.
Some of them committed suicide. Whatever the case, being with Hitler is not great for your long-term survival.
Not good.
Again, Mimi Reeder's the only one we get along, which, she's kind of Hitler is the romance character in her recollection of things, but like she lived through it.
Yeah.
That
She
seems
made
to
it
be
out.
pretty hard. Yeah.
Damn.
Really dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, seriously.
Bullet Eva Braun did not dodge. Now, I think people who focus too much on the possibility of sexual deviance in Hitler kind of might have some kind of bad intentions under the surface. I feel like focusing on that, on like the weird sex aspect of things,
Yeah.
is a way to make him seem less scary. Like calling him a sexual serial killer actually makes him less scary, because if Hitler's like a serial killer doing all of these things because he's just Jeffrey Dahmer in charge of a nation, or if he's some poop-fiending sex monster, then he's not a normal human being like all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's also like that's also demonizing those sexual practices where it's like, your kinks are your kinks as long as they're consensual. There's something the matter with them.
Whether or not Hitler was pooping in people's mouths, a lot of people who didn't become Hitler were pooping in each other's mouths.
Yes.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Martin Amis, a best-selling English author, is very much a proponent of the weird sex view of Hitler. He was behind one of these recent waves of Hitler kink stories, one that hit back in 2014, because during a speech he started making claims that he believed, he basically claimed that this was a typical sexual encounter in the life of Adolf Hitler. Quote, he would fortify his underpants with clean serviettes and napkins, and then he would go into some sort of excitation with Eva Braun staying at a safe distance. So Amos believes that, and I'm going to quote from an article about him, there are three schools of thought when it comes to Hitler's sexuality. One is normality, which Amos says that he can be immediately thrown out because it is impossible to see Hitler as a considerate and energetic lover. The next one is asexuality, and the third is perversion.
Yeah.
Now, this belief is in line with what spurned Nazis like Hanfstaengl and Strasser claim, and is also in line with the Langer report, but very much out of line with the recollections of Mimi Reeder, who probably did fuck him and says that he was pretty normal. Outside, like he was a weird guy, but like in terms of the way he fucked, nothing that crazy.
Yeah.
Hitler's sister Paula does believe Mimi Reeder was like the love of Hitler's life, and a lot of other people will say that Gelly was the love of his life. It's impossible to know. Maybe he never cared that much about any of them.
I don't know if he's actually capable of love.
That's a great question. And one of the reasons that like Hermann Goering is one of the people who's like he was different after Gelly. Like a lot of people who wound up in trial after World War II were the biggest proponents of the Hitler totally changed after his niece killed herself. And there's some suspicion among historians that like, well, you're just trying to like make yourself seem less complicit opposite, in that, like, no, when I got involved with this guy, he was a normal dude, and then he went crazy, and I, it wasn't, it was out of my hands.
Also, what a way to blame it on the woman. I mean, the somersaults that people will pull to blame everything on a woman.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And it comes down to, like, the ultimate example of that is not to throw shade on Simon Wiesenthal because he's a hero, but like the Hitler got syphilis from a Jewish prostitute room. It's like both blame it on a Jewish person and on a woman. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That just what a neat little bow.
Neat little bow. We wrap that up in.
He couldn't help it.
No.
He's a victim.
Yeah. So this, like, the attitude that Hitler was just, like, sort of irredeemably weird and like, couldn't possibly have attracted a woman naturally, and there was always strange. It's not only out of line with what, like, Mimi Reeder reported, it's out of line with, like, what his friends who didn't go on trial for war crimes reported from this stage of his life. I found an interview in Time with Karl Wilhelm Krauss, who worked as Hitler's valet for 5 years, from 34 to 39. They were, like, friendly. And here's what Krauss reported, quote, "What I can state here is that Hitler certainly did not hate women. Proof of this are the many actresses who were invited along during the early years to afternoon and evening performances. Often during our travels, he would suddenly be totally enchanted, exclaiming, 'My God, isn't that a beautiful girl?' He then turned around, making me, who was behind him, move to the side so that he had an unrestricted view behind him and could follow the lady with his gaze. If in any given place an exceptionally beautiful woman would catch his eye, Bruckner more often than not had to find out her address. After that, the lady was invited for coffee, either to Munich, Berlin, or the Obersalzberg, just so Hitler could have a chat with her." That sounds like normal famous guy.
Yeah, that's normal famous guy.
That sounds like fucking any rich famous guy in LA seeing a girl he thinks is cute and having someone from his entourage go down to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's classic.
Sounds like normal famous dude behavior. John Toland talked to Emil Maurice, Hitler's longtime chauffeur, and this is the guy who made love to Gelly and then got fired. But he and Hitler were close for a long time. And despite being exiled by Hitler for fucking his niece, Emil Maurice gave a pretty reasonable appraisal of his old boss's sex life. Quote, "We chased girls together, and I used to follow him like a shadow. The two would spend time at the art academy and in artist studios admiring models posing in the nude. Calling himself Herr Wolf, Hitler would occasionally pass an evening with Maurice roaming the night spots and streets for girls. Since the latter was attractive to women, he would act as a go-between. Every so often, according to Maurice, Hitler would entertain one of these conquests by proxy in his little room. He always offered flowers, even when he was penniless, and we used to go out and admire the ballet dancers." Sounds, again, normal.
No, that's all pretty normal.
Has his hot friend wingman for him. Like,
yeah, that's all standard.
Yeah, again, these are like and this is a guy you'd expect Emil Maurice would have bad shit to say about Hitler. But, like, there's nothing about that, I don't believe. That sounds like a million guys.
Yeah, there's nothing... Ultimately, there's nothing special about Hitler whatsoever. Like, it's like there's...
That's the conclusion you're drawn to. Now, the last destination on our tour to Hitler's love life is, of course, his relationship with Eva Braun. Eva was, as I stated, 17 when they met. She had been educated in a convent, like Mimi Reeder, and worked at Heinrich Hoffmann, his photographer's shop. She was working there when Hitler met her in 1929. Now, this is during the same year that Gelly and Hitler were supposedly in the midst of the greatest romance of his life, so they were living together and in a relationship at this point. When he meets and invites Eva Braun out to the opera, he probably started fucking her on the side while he was still with his niece, and then at one point fooling around with Mimi. So there's a point in time when Hitler's like fooling around with 3 ladies, one of whom lives with him, and not telling any of them about this.
I mean, that's also standard
rich guy.
Yeah, that's standard rich guy shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. None of this is weird.
Yeah. You're in you're in the power that you've craved for so long, so you're gonna like,
fuck a bunch of ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the Eva Braun's 2 suicide attempts, one of them coincides with like when Mimi would have come over and when like Gelly would have killed herself, and one of them coincides with another potential person that we think Hitler might have been fucking around with. So it's very possible that Eva Braun's early suicide attempts in 32 and 35 were because she was a teenager hooking up with an angry man in his 40s who played mind games with her and fucked around on the sly.
Yeah. No, I mean that tracks.
It tracks so much better than sexual serial killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Eva Braun is someone who I'd never really had make sense to me as a historical character before, but she makes so much sense if you think of her as a sensitive, artistic young woman dating a really, really abusive dude that she's in love with. Erich Kempe, another Hitler chauffeur, called her the unhappiest woman in Germany. I really like Eva Braun as portrayed by the author Jane Tyne. Now, Jane is a romance writer, mostly romantic historical fiction from what I can tell, but she's also written some serious historic essays, and the one of hers that I read was pretty good. I like the way she presents Eva because, as a general rule, brilliant as they are, most of the great Hitler biographers are male and kind of suck at getting into Eva Braun's head even a little bit. So I'm going to read a quote from Jane, kind of describing Eva Braun a little differently than I'd heard her described before. Quote, "From Eva's letters, we learned that her parents disapproved and that Hitler would frequently ignore her in public, merely passing her an envelope of money until at the end of the evening. When she was finally allotted a room in the Berlin Chancellery, she was forced to use a back entrance in case anyone saw her. Hitler and his henchmen tried their hardest to keep Eva out of the spotlight and forbade any picture of her to be published because they were keen to project the idea that he was married to Germany. Yet Eva herself ensured the opposite for posterity. She was an early adopter of cinefilm and made endless home movies. Today she would have been constantly on Facebook, Instagramming her meals and taking selfies at the Berghof. One of her more astonishing ambitions was to star one day in a biopic of her life with the man she always called Wolf." So yeah, she's sounds like a pretty normal teenager dating a famous guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I also like what Jane has to say about the Hitler is weird at sex myths, because I think what she says rings true with an awful lot of the other research I've read. Quote, "It is impossible to peer behind the bedroom door, but suggestions that Hitler was sexually avoid because of his obsession with hygiene is contradicted by observers of the time who suggest that Hitler and Eva did share a bed as a couple. They had interconnecting bedrooms at the Berghof and Hitler's valet. Heinz Ling attests that they would go to bed together. While Hitler's maid, Pauline Kohler, wrote that Hitler is not strongly sexed, Eva Braun's correspondence reveals nothing unusual, certainly not on the lines of fully clothed sex, except that once war had broken out, Hitler was unable to get interested. She used to show her friends a 1938 photograph of Neville Chamberlain on a sofa in Hitler's Munich flat, saying, 'If only he knew what goings-on that sofa has seen.'" Like, we fucked on the sofa and then the Prime Minister of England sat on it. That sounds like a normal teenager.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you're still on the fence, if you're still on team Hitler was a kind of demonic sexual force rather than just a gross, shitty dude who wound up in power through cunning and luck and the cowardice of arrogant men, well, I'd like to read one more Hitler story.
Okay.
Mimi Reeder came back to Hitler after their 1931 liaison. This was in 1934, when Hitler was in power. Gellie had been dead for 3 years, her room had been turned into a shrine, and Hitler was unofficially with Eva Braun. Now, Eva doesn't live with him at this point, because of course he's got to appear married to Germany.
That old ball and chain.
That old ball and chain, Germany. This gave Der Fuhrer the ability to invite Mimi in when she knocked on his door. I'm going to quote from explaining Hitler's write-up of Mimi's recollections. Quote, "Once again, the relationship came to life. Once again, he asked her to stay with him as his lover. She insists she will not be part of an illicit relationship. She wanted to be married and to have children. Suddenly, Hitler had a fit of rage. He shouted, 'Why do you women only think of having children?' He kept shouting. It was around 3 a.m. that he could not take care of a woman. He shouted that he had a big mission to fulfill. They argued for 2 more hours. Then they departed, never to see each other again."
Whew!
Yeah.
Dodged several bullets, Mimi.
You really did. And yeah.
It's also so crazy because it's like, okay, you're going after women that are raised in convents, motherfucker. Like, the only purpose for sex in the Catholic Church is procreation.
Yep.
And then you're mad at them. Like, you're taught all the same shit. Oh, God.
Yeah, I think what, like, maybe Hitler was into poop and pee, and maybe he liked sex with clothes on.
Yeah.
Maybe not. At the end of the day, the overwhelming picture I'm left with of Hitler is that he was the same, like, every woman has dated a shitty guy who's just like Hitler. They just didn't wind up in charge of the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like a selfish fucking idiot dude that needs to go to therapy.
He's selfish, he's famous, and he's going to take as much advantage of that as he can.
Yeah.
He's a habitual liar because he's fucking Hitler.
Yeah.
And he's emotionally abusive, and he screams when he doesn't get his way.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, he's a
gaslighting piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a... Yeah, Hitler turns out piece of shit.
Hitler turns out piece of shit, but not like... Of course he's a bad person, but he's not... Like, what's scarier to me about this is that, like, there's nothing special about him.
Yeah, he's just classic piece of shit.
He's just a normal piece of shit.
Yeah, it's nothing out of the ordinary.
And that means... like the good thing that means is that like we as human beings will never deal with supernatural evil settling down upon the world and forcing a nightmare regime on us.
Yeah.
But it also means that there's millions of guys like this walking around who, if they ever got into power, have that kind of potential.
Oh, exactly. It's like this is the blueprint for those kind of guys.
Yeah, and that's why when you look at the fucking evolution of incel culture on the internet, they're really into Nazis.
Yeah.
They're really into ISIS too. They love them both.
No, yeah.
They love the murder and the hatred and like the ability to do violence on like a world you feel has wronged you, and they all have issues with women, and none of them fuck.
Yeah, and none of them like ask why a woman might not be into them immediately.
They all have that reaction when like a buddy's like, maybe just learn to dance or whatever.
I
Like,
will not learn to dance.
I will not learn to dance.
I will not learn to dance.
That's the fucking Hitler I want people to like think about when they imagine what kind of man could do the things he did. It's the kind of guy whose friend is like, well, maybe learn to dance and that girl who likes dancing will be interested in you, and he just starts screaming.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
there's as if I could improve.
Yeah, exactly. I'm already a perfect being.
I am a perfect being. Me, 14-year-old horny Hitler is like,
oh, God. Yeah, no, that's
fucking Hitler.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking Hitler.
He's the worst. I mean, but he's not, is the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not.
He's like,
he's perfectly average.
Yeah, he's a perfectly average, shitty person who wound up in a position of power and did the kind of things that, like, comparing him to a serial killer is wrong. Comparing him to one of these incel kids who goes on a mass shooting rampage or drives a van into a sorority house or whatever to kill, that's who to compare him to.
No, yeah, that's much more accurate. Yeah, for sure.
And I think that is one way to look at sort of the Holocaust, is that like it was a reaction of like anger at not winning this war and like wanting to do as much damage as you could. And there's like an attitude of that about like the destruction of Berlin, that like the reason he didn't pull out of Berlin or the reason he didn't surrender and just shoot himself that way and spare the city and people is he was like, no, if we're going to lose, all of us are going to die.
Yeah.
Fuck Germany.
Taking everybody with me. You didn't fight hard enough for me.
Exactly. Like that was literally like some of the shit he would say, is that like if Germany doesn't win, we deserve to be destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's just a shitty, angry little prick with a temper who, you know, if I mean, fuck it, man, like to get really dark on you, maybe in a society where young men like that go on mass shooting sprees, they're less likely to become Hitler. Like, I don't know if that's like good or whatever, but like Hitler doesn't have that option and just becomes Hitler. Yeah. Like we're in dark territory here, but I do think he's that kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, it's being raised to think that you were special and then having that lie. Yeah. Because nobody's special. There's a billion people on the planet.
Nobody's special. There's a lot of people out there, Hitler.
Well, and like that's the big thing about so many of these incel guys is like they're raised to think that they are like the princes of their own little kingdoms.
A lot of mama's boys.
A lot of mama's boys.
Roosh V, that pickup artist guy living in his mom's basement.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about how the Jews are behind everything. Like, it just keeps happening.
Well, and then they're mad they desperately need a woman, but they're mad at a woman because they think a woman sees them as weak because they need them to feel special.
Yeah, the idea that like a relationship would have give and take and that you both have things to teach each other. Yeah. Like he doesn't want to be taught anything.
No. He just wants pure allegiance.
Yeah, which is why he goes after 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Probably why his dad went after 16-year-olds.
Absolutely.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, it's a power trip.
It's a power trip.
Yeah, you don't want an equal of any kind.
No.
Fucking coward.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just a real piece of shit.
So if you've ever wondered what happens if you give one of those incels on Reddit the most powerful military force in continental Europe, it was World War II.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, no, exactly. They'll just keep pushing.
Boy, howdy, Hitler.
Yeah, so teach your sons to dance.
Teach your sons to dance, and that's the only thing we've learned today.
Yeah.
Is teach your sons to dance.
You can dance if you want to.
Yeah, make sure if you vote for someone, they don't date teenagers.
At the very least.
At the very least.
At the very least, make sure they're not dating teenagers.
Because that's how you get Hitlers.
Yeah.
That's how you get Hitlers. Don't let them fuck their niece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you make eye contact with a woman of your age without being filled with rage?
Yeah, yeah. Are you... Are you capable of like having a conversation with a woman without screaming? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's also, are you capable of like seeing your dog misbehave without beating it and choking it and scaring a teenager?
Yep.
Hitler.
God, just kind of mad his German Shepherd didn't finish the job early.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a goat that supposedly bit off his dick.
I wish that goat had just
I wish
slit
that
his
goat
throat.
ate the whole Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. Chew that tin can up. Spit him out.
How different the world would be if we just had like a weird... Did you know that back in like the 1909, a goat ate a boy?
What if like in the future, the only animals that can time travel are goats? So we did try to kill Hitler, but he only bit his dick off.
The goat only just got part of his dick. And it was...
and we actually just really made it worse than it was in the first place.
Yeah, it would have been fine otherwise. He would have just went on to become a... I don't know, like a sub in a dungeon.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing Hitler might have been happy with.
Yeah,
He'd
absolutely.
really gotten in touch with his demons.
Yeah, for sure. He just wanted to be whipped. That's why he carried a whip with him everywhere.
Yeah.
Somebody whip me,
Admitting
please.
that takes some courage, though.
It does.
It does.
It still does in 2019. You know, like it's the more open people can be about their kinks and stuff like that, the more open sexually the world can be and more accepting, then I think the less...
That's why I say this every day. I say it a lot to my roommates, to police officers during traffic stops. More dominatrixes is the only thing that will protect us from more Hitlers.
Truly. Absolutely.
That's, I think, the note we're going to end on. Brandie, you want to plug your pluggables?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Brandazzle. My website is brandieposey.com, Brandie with an I-E, Posey with an E-Y. I have an album available wherever you listen to albums. It's called Opinion Cave. It's very funny. Feel free to buy it. And then I have a podcast called Lady to Lady. It's me, Barbara Gray, and Tess Barker. And then we have a fourth guest on every week. Past guests have included people like Karen Kogara, or French Stewart, or Margaret Cho. It's a really, really fun podcast. And then I have a monthly show here in Los Angeles on the second Saturday of every month called Picture This. And that's a show that I've hosted for 6 years where we pair up comedians with animators. They live animate your jokes behind you during your set. It's like you riffing within your own bits, and we get like really insane artists to come do the show all the time. Like we've had Pendleton Ward from Adventure Time, Craig Bartlett, the creator of Hey Arnold, has been on recently, and then we have people from amazing shows like BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth and Mr. Pickles, and it's a real great fun time. That's the second Saturday. God. And that's some music.
That's my alarm that's set at 4:30 for no good reason. Oh, boy.
But yeah, those are my plugs. Come see me at all the shit, guys.
Well, if you currently know a young man who you're worried is going down a Hitlery path, tune him into those shows. Maybe open up his mind a little bit. Listen to some progressive comedy.
Get him some dance lessons. Tell him to listen to my podcast.
Have him hear a couple of men laugh at themselves and... realize that it's okay.
Yeah. Like get him out there and just give him a hug.
Or hire a goat to bite his dick off. Either way, it's up to you to fight the Hitlers in your life. We all encounter a couple of Hitlers out there.
Hey, you time-traveling goats listening out there, finish the job next time.
Finish the job and retroactively render this episode pointless. I am Robert Evans. You can find us online at BehindTheBastards.com. You can find me on Twitter at IWriteOK. I have a book called A Brief History of Vice, where I do drugs, which if Hitler had done more of when he was young and not when he was old, he might have also come to some better conclusions about his ego. I'm podcast at Bastards Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Buy a t-shirt, Behind the Bastards, TeePublic. Fuck Hitler, I love 40% of you.
A BetterHelp ad. We get it. February is full of flowers, candy, and, of course, lots of talk about relationships. It can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives. But the truth is, we're all still figuring it out. Whether you're working on your marriage, navigating the dating apps, or prioritizing staying single, no matter where you are, you're right on time. Therapy can help you find your way and take some of the pressure off yourself so you can determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can feel lighter. Just a little bit of outside perspective from a professional can lead to new understanding and a lot of progress. So the next time you're feeling iffy about your love life, try therapy with BetterHelp and see where it takes you. And remember, you're right on time. Visit BetterHelp.com for 10% off. That's BetterHelp.com.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Introducing Anabay Sofas, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquids simply slide right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit washablesofas.com to upgrade your living space today. Sofas start at just $699 with no risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
You're listening to a podcast, so you're doing something else too, like maybe scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving places you like without thinking you'll get them, because that's what house hunting has become. But Redfin isn't built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, which means when you find a place you love, you've got a real shot at getting it. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This is Bethany Frankel from Just Be with Bethany Frankel. Let me be blunt. Most dog food is junk. It just is. And I'm not feeding junk to Biggie and Smalls. That is why they eat Just Food for Dogs. It's real, 100% human-grade food with ingredients I actually recognize, not mystery pellets pretending to be healthy. And once I switched, the difference was obvious. Better digestion, better skin, more energy, dogs who actually feel good instead of just surviving dinner. Here's the thing. You care about quality. You make an intentional choice to be healthy. So why are you gambling with your dog's health? So let's think about our furry babies. Go to justfoodfordogs.com right now and get 50% off your first box. No code, just try it. Because once you see the difference, you're not going back.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.